Welcome to Court Helicopter Explainer, where we are actually answering questions about land. The questions were sent to us by more than 5,000 followers of us, and we decided that although we have dealt with laws of Kenya, chapter 300, we need to revisit this question. And the question today is, when there is a provision in the law that says, if you buy land in honest belief that you are an innocent purchaser, the law must protect you. For example, you go and do a search in a land's office and you get the title deed, reads the person who is selling you the land. Based on that search, you enter, you buy land, you pay that person 100 million shillings, you've taken a loan, you get 50 million shillings or 2 million shillings, you buy land. Because you have a search. Can that title deed be revoked? Can the title deed be revoked when you have a title deed? Yes. It's very, very scary. This question went to the Supreme Court of Kenya. And in the Supreme Court of Kenya, here was a person who had a valid title deed. And he said, I have had this title deed for all this time. I did a search. I checked. I was told this land belongs to this person. I did my due diligence. The Supreme Court dismissed his claim and said, what is the root title that you must have? What you must do a search, what is called a historical search. The land registries in this country started around 1901, 1902. That's when the colonialists came in. Now you know, from the day you are going to buy land, go with the first entry of the title deed. Check the history of the title deed. That is called the root search. This one will tell you what it is. The perspective we are bringing is in contrast to what you call the innocent purchaser for value. That me, I'm an innocent person, I purchased and I paid value, that's consideration money. The courts have said you are wasting your time. What is it that can cause your title deed to be declared, one, revoked? If the land you are buying was originally government land, some of the lands people have been bought belong to the government, both the national government or the municipal. Those times they were called county governments, currently the county governments. Any land that you have bought that originally belonged to government land, the title you are holding is illegal. Whether you have that title and you have taken to the bank, the banks will lose their money and the banks will come for you. Any government land that was acquired illegally. Some of the people were given land by the late President, Daniel Arap Moi. And the Commission of Lands then. All those lands, the title they have are papers. That is the decision of the Supreme Court. This question started from the lower court. It went to the High Court. It went to the Court of Appeal. And it landed in the Supreme Court. This is the case of Dinner Management Ltd versus the County Government of Mombasa and 5 others, 2023. What is the decision of the judges? The judges ruled that a title deed is not absolute proof of ownership if the acquisition process was illegal or irregular. A title deed is not absolute if that title deed was acquired illegally or irregularly. Illegally is by fraud, by deception. Irregularly is that the procedures were not followed. You have bought land. That land used to be ADC land. Land used to be a settlement land. Land used to belong to government. Land used to belong to a forest. Land used to belong to a swamp. Land that was, you bought land that belonged to riparian waters. My friend, you are wasting your time. In Dinner, the judges said you have got to do due diligence. And in the next episode, we'll tell you what due diligence means. What did the judges say? One, that you need to move more than what is called a search from the land registrar. In the next episode, we'll tell you how do you do due diligence beyond that search. Kenyans know very well that the land registry, sometimes there are 4 or 5 files over one matter. When you do a search, if a corrupt land registrar will give you a search, they have made 4 or 5 green cards. You do a search, at 2, it tells you the owner is Omari. Tomorrow, you do a search over the same land, you find it is Kinyanjui Stanley. The 3rd day, you do a search, it becomes again Omari. So you need to move away outside the search. And that is what we are going to teach you in the last episode about this land. 3, the judges said, a tainted title. A tainted title, the courts will not protect it. If you are tainted with blood, you are a bad man. If you are tainted with dirt, you are a bad man. Your title must be very clean. All the processes to acquire that title must be clean, legal, and above board. If there were any shortcuts, for example, we have been talking about this thing, somebody dies. There is no succession that has been done. You go and you bribe a land registrar. The title deed moves from your father to yourself. Succession has not been done. That is a tainted title deed. That is a waste of time. The courts will never protect a tainted charge sheet. A tainted title. Lastly, did you do proper due diligence? No. The blame does not go to government. Many people are saying the search belongs to government. I relied on the search given by a government officer. The Supreme Court has told you, you need to move further. Yes, we understand. You'll shed tears. You'll scream and show people to quote a helicopter. Look at the search I did. And the title deed I was given. The land registrar confirmed this to be true. Under the case of Dinner, the provisions now have changed. Therefore, for you to do due diligence, these are the steps that you need to do. 1, check the legal ownership and the history of the title. Check the surveys and mapping accuracy. Are the maps and surveys accurate? Check if there are any encumbrances or caveats put there. and also go to the ground for verification to confirm that there are no squatters who are there. Number 2, check the type of tenure. Is it absolute freehold? Is it leasehold? Is it a property that the remainder of the term, and whether there are any restrictions there? In historical search, trace the ownership lineage. How has the land moved from one person to another? Check if there is any fraudulent or any irregular transfers. If there are any, that land, avoid it. Then we have the survey and map verification. Check whether there is a certificate of beacons. Check whether the acreage is right. And lastly, check whether there exists a registry index map, what is called RM. Ensure that the physical ground matches with what is at the registry. Step 4, check that all dues to the county government or the national government have been paid for. And also check under the Physical Planning Act of 2019 whether that land is allocated for high density, low density. Is it allocated for a cemetery? Is it allocated for a dam? Is it allocated for SGR? That you must check. Step 5, check the court records. Is there any court case going on in that matter? 6, check the interest of the community. Is it a grazing land for community? Is it a praying ground, a kaya ground where people go to pray? Then also check the following risks. Is the title fake? Check there. 2, are there double allocations? Some people sell land twice or 3 times. Check that. 4, impersonation. Is the ID, the KRA, PIN number you have been given, genuine? Confirm from KRA and confirm from the registrar of persons and confirm from the company registry. Check whether that land is public land. Confirm if the land falls under the Riparian Act. Is the land 50 meters away from the river? If you are buying that land belongs to the government. Then check if there are mortgages and charges around there. Check also if the land is subject to succession, because most of the people are being told, hii shamba ni ya babangu, alikufa, we are dealing with succession. Nobody is sure what the succession court will decide. Lastly, check whether the woman who has signed that as a wife, is she a spouse? Is she recognized as a wife? Check the man who has signed that document. Is he a spouse or is not a spouse? Then we move to the transactions. Ensure the sale agreement has a date, it is drawn by an advocate, it is commissioned by a commissioner of oath, and make sure that that advocate has a practicing certificate. There are very many fake advocates who don't have practicing certificate and they are involved in transaction of this land. Also, check whether there is stamp duty that has been paid. If the stamp duty has not been paid, that is fatal. Equally, any agricultural land, confirm that there was land control board consent. If the land control board consents to divide and to sell, you cannot divide your land in this country before the land control board agrees. You cannot sell before the land control board agrees. That is issue. Then lastly, ensure that you have gone to a lawyer with a practicing certificate, a lawyer who can do due diligence for you to get what you need. Otherwise, you will lose your land. Wakili Dan Omari has told you, due diligence is everything. Even a judgment there's a judgment in Malindi where the judge says, if you walk around with where the land you are asking, Mulevi, that Mulevi person there has a lot of information of that land. Mulevi atakwambia achana na hiyo shamba. Watu wanakuja kila siku hapa wanagongo wanauziwa. Those were levies. The neighbors, the surrounding people know the history of the land better than that person who you are relying on called the land registrar. Wakili Dan Omari now has brought this because we have listened to you. Don't lose land. Use registered, qualified, experienced advocates trained to deal with your conveyancing. Stop working with a title deed thinking the court cannot revoke that title deed. Wakili Dan Omari from Court Helicopter News. Asanteni.